In 1958, young people met at church socials over punch and conversation. Today, they swipe through 50 strangers on Tinder before breakfast. How did meeting your future spouse become this impersonal? When America was simpler, meeting someone meant community. Church socials, town dances, community picnics. You met people through shared values, shared faith, shared circles. Everyone knew everyone. Character was visible before courtship even began. The families knew each other or knew of each other. References existed. Reputation mattered. When a young man approached a young woman, he wasn't a complete stranger. Today, that's gone. People meet through apps, strangers swiping through photos. No community connection, no shared values, no one vouching for character, just algorithms matching faces. It's 1958, Saturday evening in June, First Baptist Church, Springfield, Missouri. The fellowship hall is decorated with streamers and balloons, long tables laden with potluck dishes, casseroles, fried chicken, coleslaw, 3 types of pie. The monthly church youth social. About 40 young people tonight, ages 16 to 25. Chaperones line the walls, older married couples keeping watchful but friendly eyes on everything. A young man stands near the refreshment table, 22 years old, works at his father's hardware store. Been attending this church his whole life. Tonight he's nervous, adjusting his tie, smoothing his hair, wiping his palms on his slacks. Across the room, a young woman stands with friends, 19, works as a secretary at the insurance company downtown. She's been coming to these socials since she turned 16. She knows most people here, grew up with them, went to school with them, sees them every Sunday. The young man has noticed her before. At church services, sitting 3 pews ahead, he's noticed her for months, but never worked up courage to approach. His mother had encouraged him that morning. The Johnson girl would likely be at the social. She's lovely, from a good family. He should talk to her. His mother knew the girl's mother. They served together in the church ladies' auxiliary. The families weren't close, but they knew of each other. The girl's father worked for the electric company. Steady job, respectable, good family. The young man takes a deep breath, walks across the room, approaches the cluster of young women. He asks if she'd like some punch. She smiles, says yes. They walk together to the refreshment table. He ladles punch into 2 paper cups from the large glass bowl. Bright red fruit punch, probably made that afternoon by the church ladies. They stand by the table, begin talking. But what happens next is something impossible in today's world of anonymous swiping. The conversation starts with pleasantries, small talk, but not meaningless. These are careful steps, each person revealing small things about themselves, testing compatibility. They talk for 20 minutes, then 30. The conversation flows more easily. She mentions her work. He mentions the hardware store, how he's learning the business from his father. Her friends drift away, giving them space. His friends watch from across the room with knowing grins. Everyone in the fellowship hall can see them talking. This is courtship beginning, and it's happening in full view of 40 witnesses. One of the chaperones watches with approval. She knows both families. Good match. Both from solid church families. Both young, hard-working, respectable. Someone starts the record player. Big band music. Young people begin dancing. Careful, respectful dancing with space between partners. The young man asks if she'd like to dance. She accepts. They dance to 3 songs. Between songs, more conversation. He learns she has 2 younger sisters. She learns he's an only child, which is why his father wants him to learn the business. They discover they both graduated from Springfield High, though he was 1954 and she was 1957. They laugh about possibly passing each other in the halls. The conversation reveals deeper things. She mentions wanting to work only until marriage, then focus on family. He mentions saving money, preparing for when he's ready to marry and support a family. These aren't casual comments. These are signals of values, life goals, compatibility. At 9 o'clock, the social ends. He gathers courage, asks if he might walk her home. She looks pleased but explains she came with her parents. They're helping clean up. He asks if he might meet them. And then something happens that would seem insane to anyone under 40 today. She leads him to where her parents work. Her father straightens, wipes his hands, extends one for a handshake. The grip is firm. Assessing. The young man introduces himself, mentions his father's name in the hardware store. The father nods with recognition. He knows the store. Good business. His expression softens. The young man asks permission. May he call on their daughter? Perhaps take her to the movies next Saturday. The father looks at his daughter. She meets his eyes, hopeful. He looks back at the young man. The father asks questions. Where does he work? Does he own the store or work for his father? Does he attend church regularly? What are his intentions? The young man answers honestly. Works for his father, learning to eventually take over. Attends every Sunday, has since childhood. Intentions are simply to get to know her better, if she's willing and parents approve. Honorable courtship. The mother exchanges a glance with her husband, some wordless communication. The father nods, says yes, but conditions exist. She must be home by 9. And for the first few dates, her younger sister should accompany them as chaperone. The young man agrees immediately. Whatever her parents require. They exchange information. The family's phone number, their address. He'll telephone Monday evening to confirm Saturday's details. He drives home feeling transformed. He met someone, really met someone, and it happened naturally, in community, with family awareness from the first moment. The courtship unfolds over 8 months, every Saturday. Movies, socials, sitting on her porch talking. Her sister chaperoned the first 3 dates. After that, her parents decided he'd proven himself trustworthy. But everything about how they met, every element, would be impossible in 2026. They met through community, shared faith, shared values. Before they spoke, character was visible. He'd been attending that church 22 years. People knew him, knew his family, knew his reputation, knew whether he was responsible, hardworking, honest. Same with her. She wasn't a stranger. People knew her character, her family, her reputation. When courtship began, it happened with accountability. The community watched protectively. If he'd treated her badly, people would have noticed. Word would have reached her parents. Social consequences would have followed. The families were involved from day one. He met her parents immediately, asked permission before even one date. Throughout the courtship, both families knew everything, where they went, when she'd be home, his intentions. After 4 months, both sets of parents had dinner together, met properly. Because if this led to marriage, these families would be connected for life. The courtship built slowly, 8 months of Saturday dates before marriage. They got to know each other deeply. Values, character, temperament, goals, how they handled stress, whether they enjoyed each other's company, whether faiths aligned, whether visions for the future matched. Physical intimacy was delayed until marriage. This forced them to build emotional connection first, develop friendship, discover compatibility before physical bonding complicated everything. By their wedding day, they knew each other better than many modern couples know each other after years of dating. The community celebrated their marriage. Nearly 200 people attended. Not because it was fancy, it cost under $300. People attended because the community was invested. They'd watched the courtship, approved it. Now they celebrated and committed to supporting the marriage. This was how millions of Americans met their spouses in the 1950s, through community connection. But open any dating app today and you'll see something that would horrify anyone from 1958. Fast forward, 2026, Tuesday evening. Same town, Springfield, Missouri. Everything has changed. A young woman sits alone in her apartment, 28 years old, marketing coordinator, makes $48,000 yearly, rents a 1-bedroom for $1,100 monthly. She's on her couch, still in work clothes, wine glass on the coffee table, phone in her hands. She opens Tinder, begins swiping, left, too old, left, bad photos, left, shirtless mirror selfie, automatic no, left, 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 20 minutes, 47 faces, 47 strangers she'll never meet, just photos and brief bios, height, job title, maybe a joke. Right, this one looks acceptable. Accountant, lives 12 miles away, 29, 6 feet. Bio says he likes hiking and craft beer. They match immediately. He'd already swiped right on her. A message appears, 2 words asking how things are going. She types back something equally brief. The conversation is painfully generic. Surface-level exchanges copy-pasted from thousands of other Tinder conversations happening simultaneously. Questions about work, hobbies, plans, nothing deep, nothing revealing character or values. They text like this for 3 days, brief messages scattered throughout workdays, nothing meaningful. The young woman knows almost nothing about him, not his last name. Tinder doesn't show last names, not his family. Doesn't know anyone who knows him, no way to verify anything. He could be lying about everything, could be married, could be anyone, no references, no community connection, no way to assess character beyond 6 photos and text messages. In 1958, this would have been unthinkable. Meeting a complete stranger with no references, no community, no accountability. In 2026, it's just called dating. Friday evening, they meet at a bar. Crowded, loud, filled with others on similar dates. They sit at a high-top table. Both order drinks. Alcohol smooths the awkwardness of sitting across from a stranger. Small talk. Where did you grow up? What's your family like? Standard first date questions. Pleasant but superficial. Both performing their best selves. After 2 drinks, $45, he suggests leaving, going to his place, quieter there. They could watch a movie. She hesitates. She's known him 3 days through texts and 1 hour in person. But this is normal now. This is how dating works in 2026. She agrees. But here's what makes this even more hollow than one meaningless encounter. Morning brings awkwardness. Neither knows what to say. He's polite, but distant. She gets dressed, says she should go. He doesn't argue. She calls an Uber, $14, waits outside, feeling empty. They text a few times over the next week, brief, non-committal. The messages fade. They never see each other again. She goes back to Tinder, swipes through more faces, matches with someone else. The pattern repeats. This has been her reality for 4 years, since 24, using dating apps the entire time, has gone on first dates with maybe 30 different men. Some lead to brief relationships, most lead nowhere. She wants something real. What her grandparents had: met at a church social in 1957, courted 8 months, married, stayed together 58 years. But she doesn't go to church, works long hours, doesn't know her neighbors, has friends, but they're all struggling with the same issues. No community, no structure, no natural place to meet people with shared values. Just apps. Endless swiping. Her parents live 4 hours away. Don't know she uses dating apps. She'd be embarrassed to tell them. They met through her father's coworker at a barbecue, courted a year, married at 22 and 24. That world seems impossible. She's 28, never been close to marriage, never dated anyone longer than 8 months. The relationships fizzle. They start with physical attraction and algorithms, no foundation of shared community or values. The men she meets are the same, swiping endlessly, treating dating like a catalog. Why commit when thousands more matches are available? Always wondering if someone better is 1 swipe away. And the cost of this system, financial and emotional, is staggering compared to 1958. In 1958, that 8-month courtship cost maybe $60 total. Movie tickets, sodas, 1 nice dinner, less than a week's wages. In 2026, 1 month of Tinder Premium costs $40. 1 year costs $480. That's just app access, not actual dates. The young woman has gone on 30 first dates in 4 years. Average cost per date, even splitting, $35. Over $1,000 spent on dates with strangers. Most led nowhere. But the real cost isn't money. It's emotional exhaustion, endless swiping, superficial conversations, disappointment when someone ghosts, the feeling you're one option among thousands, the sense you're completely replaceable. In 1958, that couple met once, 1 church social, 1 conversation, led to 8 months of courtship, led to lifetime together, 58 years, 4 children, a life built. In 2026, people match with hundreds, meet dozens, build nothing lasting. The dating apps aren't designed to help you find love. They're designed to keep you on the app, keep you swiping, keep you paying. Because if you found your spouse on the 3rd swipe, you'd delete the app. The business model depends on keeping people single and searching. In 1958, options were limited. You met people in your community, maybe 100 potential partners. So when you found someone good, you committed. In 2026, options feel unlimited, millions of profiles. So people never commit, never stop looking, always wondering if someone better might match tomorrow. But the deepest loss isn't the money or failed relationships. It's something that's vanished from American culture. In 1958, meeting someone meant entering community together. When that couple married, they weren't just two isolated people. They were two families joining, two networks connecting. The community witnessed their courtship, approved it, invested in it, celebrated it. When the wedding happened, 200 people attended. Not because it was fancy, cost under $300. People attended because they were invested. This couple belonged to the community. When times got hard, and marriage always has hard times, the community was there. Parents offering advice, siblings providing support, church friends checking in, older couples offering wisdom. The network that brought them together stayed involved. In 2026, couples meet through apps. No community connection, no family involvement until the relationship is already established, if it gets that far. When they marry, they're alone. Just two people trying to figure everything out. When times get hard, no community infrastructure, no network of people invested in the marriage succeeding, no accountability, no support, easy to quit, easy to divorce. Nobody really knows them as a couple. The algorithm that matched them isn't there in year 3 when financial stress creates tension. The app doesn't care if they make it. In 1958, the church community stayed involved, celebrated anniversaries, brought meals when someone was sick, provided counsel when marriage got difficult, created accountability. Marriage was understood as a community institution, something the whole network supported. That's gone. Modern couples date and marry in isolation, then wonder why marriage feels so hard. Was 1958 perfect? No. Options were limited. If you lived in a small town, you might only meet 20 potential partners. If you were gay, church socials weren't safe. If your community was closed-minded, you had no escape. Does 2026 have advantages? Yes. More freedom. People can find partners across boundaries. LGBTQ people can date openly. Women aren't pressured into marriage. But something essential was lost. Community, accountability, courtship built on character before attraction, support systems that helped marriages survive. We gained unlimited options and individual freedom. We lost community, support, and structures that made lasting relationships achievable. When America was simpler, young people met at church socials, over punch and conversation, with community watching, with families involved, with shared values visible from the beginning. Today, they swipe through strangers alone in apartments, match with people they'll never meet, build nothing lasting. We gained options, we lost connection. If you met your spouse at a church social, dance, or community event, share your story in the comments. Where did you meet? How long before you married? Like this video and subscribe to When America Was Simpler. When America was simpler, we met through community, not algorithms.